once again, it's my pleasure to join you for a reading from another one of my books. This one is called Shackles Across Time.
Shackles Across Time. Let me see it a little bit.
Shackles Across Time.
There we go.
And of course, once again, we have a cover that's done by the inimitable Zola Salena. She seems to be covering everything.
I do my best. Okay.
Shackles Across Time. Let me get at it this way because we've had a number of inquiries from people I've known for a long time and some recently discovered friends. I'll be reading 9 chapters from this book, but here's what happened the other day at a literary gathering, I'll put it that way. I was asked, why do you write about what you write about? Okay, after 38 books, 42 books, between 30 and 42, I hate to admit, I can't really remember because some of the ones that have not been published are still fresh on my brain. In any case, the question was asked, why do you write about what you write about? I've been called by some of my friends the Undergroundmaster because I have so many books out there and it seems that I'm not nationally known. Well, I don't know how true that is or how false it is. I don't go around taking polls or anything like that. But my answer to the question as to why I write about what I write about, my question was simple. I write about what I write about because it's what I'm about. And having chosen to deliberately create something that I call the Pan-African Occult, I have no choice but to write about that because no one else is doing it, or perhaps no one else can do it. I don't know. Take this particular work, for example, Shackles Across Time. You see an outline of Africa with a lot of colonial flags waving in the breeze. It occurred to me that there's a lot that Africans don't know about African Americans and vice versa. I don't know if the two sins are equal, but certainly that is an actual fact. In 1992, I decided to do a little private investigating, so I went to Ghana to find out how true it was that Africans didn't know very much about African Americans. I'm not just simply talking about African Americans in North America, the United States, but in the Caribbean, in North and South America, and wherever you find Africans. You know, you have people in the islands, you have people in Europe, you have people everywhere of African descent. And it seems that there's a real dearth of information that we don't have. So what I wanted to do was write a book or 2 or 3 about the relations that African Americans have with each other. So I went to Ghana to do that. The other question I was asked is, what would you like to have your books do? And I thought about it for a hot minute, and my answer was to educate and entertain. You might fuse those words and call it edutainment. Hopefully, those who read the books carefully will get out of them what I put in them. Because, well, that's always up for grabs because people can cherry pick whatever they like and come to any kind of conclusion they want to come to. I'm not going to be responsible for that. But I will say, for those who are reading the books carefully, you'll be able to reach some of the same conclusion I've reached. Or if you don't, no big thing. Let me start with the first 2 chapters of
Shackles Across Time.
Where can you buy this?
You can buy it at Amazon, Author House, Barnes & Noble. If you go in and ask, I think better probably online, put in Shackles Across Time by Odie Hawkins, and it should pop up where it can be purchased. And of course, at your local bookstore, if you go in and say, I want a copy of Odie Hawkins' book, Shackles Across Time, it can be ordered for you. It is also an ebook as well as paperback.
Believe it or not, that was the person who designed the cover.
With your suggestions.
Salena-Hawkins.
Yes. Cover design by your suggestions.
More information than any gifted human being should have. But
No.
she's a widely ranging person. Let's get into this.
Please.
It's a story that's going to take a little bit of telling because it is a story. Morning, Bob. How many already? Got a busy day. Got started out late. Only 5 this morning. I don't see how you do it. I can barely do 2. Well, you know the old saying, the more you do, the more you can do. Yeah, I've heard that. See you later. Robert Quinn of Quinn Products and Company jogged past the older man as though he were a 440 man running a half mile. Chicago's near Northside lakefront, from the grainy little beach in front of the Drake Hotel and back. Nothing to it, a baby could do it. He studied the buildings on his left as he jogged away from the Drake Hotel, Oak Street Beach, along the real outer drive. Beautiful way to start any day. Pushing it just a bit, he felt a familiar rush, the good vibe feeling of feeling good as he paced himself at a home lap. Homebound, he nodded and waved at a collection of familiar strangers whom he shared his 7 a.m. run with. The 2 gay guys who looked like weightlifters, the 82-year-old grandmother, the trio of African-American family members who always seemed to be laughing about something. Mr. and Mrs. Chin, the white woman in front of him that he had secretly nicknamed Miss Black Booty. He eased up beside her with a few powerful strides. Hi, Sally, how's it going? He was never quite prepared to deal with the seductive look she flipped in his direction. How could a woman running on the lakefront with no makeup, dressed in a pair of black leotards and a t-shirt, give anybody a seductive look? But she could, and she did. And it simply boiled down to the fact that she was a very sexy white woman. Oh, hi, Bobby. Funny, I was just thinking of you. He matched her stride for a few hundred yards. She wasn't even breathing hard. You say you were thinking about me? Uh-huh. I was just wondering if you were out here this morning. They exchanged smiles. You think I let you run out here by yourself? Once again, she gave him her seductive look. Sally Bergman. I'm Swedish on both sides, but we don't brag about it. That's typically Swedish, I think. He could only recall 2 conversations they'd had when they weren't running. The conversations, one while he was strolling off a Saturday night hangover, and the other when he gave her a lift home with an armful of groceries, were heavily laced with suggestive expressions. Her urge to let him know that she would be willing if he wanted to. I just love this time of day, don't you? Yeah, it's my favorite time. Morning, Bob. How's it going, George? Can't kick. Jogging through the tree-shaded streets of Rogers Park now. The familiar fraternity of joggers exchanged greetings, smiles. They reached the corner and jogged in place, waiting for the light to change before going in different directions. Well, Guess this is where we part. Coming out tomorrow. If hell don't freeze over and the creek don't rise. You say the funniest thing. See you tomorrow. Bye. You turn to my Sally Bergman's behind. Yeah. Lady has a lot of backfield there. No doubt about it. Once again, he thought about what an affair would be like. We would be hot as stolen pistols for a few months. And then I would be just as sad as any other brother who had left a sister to fool around with a white girl. Never known a brother who left a sister to fool around with a white girl who felt good about himself or her afterwards. 8:15 a.m. Dinah should be finishing her yoga by now. He smiled as he slowed his jog to a dog trot. Wonder what Dinah would say about me running with Sally Bergman. Probably nothing. She knows me too well. She knows I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize what we built up over the past 25 years. Robert, she'd never say Bob. I think the one thing I find terribly hard to forgive is the man who has a woman who goes through hell and high water with him and then leaves her for some fluffhead who fills out a skirt better. If you did that to me, I'd put a curse on you.
Whoops.
I know she wouldn't do anything that stupid. Well, I don't think she would. But then again, I bet she would too. The smile widened into a full-fledged grin. Who in the hell could fill out a skirt better than Dinah Ellis Quinn? 10 more blocks. A breeze stirring off the lake. Springtime in Chicago. Robert Quinn, the president and CEO of Quinn Products Incorporated, gave himself permission to gather wool as he revved up for the last laps of his morning jog. Dinah is putting a beautiful little breakfast together, heavy on the fruit and bran. The older a man gets, the more fiber he needs. Is that all an older man needs? Mm-hmm. Do you want to be late to the office the third time this week? Kofi wouldn't be up yet, but you couldn't expect a jazz musician who played his last set at 2 a.m. to be up at 8 a.m. I don't see how he does it. The music is what carries me, Dad. It's a high by itself. I think that's what makes it so hard for me to understand why so many of the old-timers, people like Bird, Miles, Bud Powell, Chet Baker, Train, Monk, all of them fantastic musicians, why do they have to feel compelled to use dope? I think that's a question each one of them would answer in a different way. But I'd be willing to go out on a limb and make a blanket statement. I'm sure racism had a lot to do with it. Think about what you would feel like knowing that you were the cream of the cream and being treated like a trained SEAL every night, and having the society we live in to think of you as a talented nigger only. Kofi Quinn, professional jazz pianist and at 22 years old, considered a pig in the Art Tatum, Oscar Peterson monk mold. Kwame is on his way to class now. I hope he doesn't try to read and drive at the same time. That last fender bender was totally unnecessary. Dad, what can I say? I'll be more careful in the future. Hey man, it's your car. You can mow the sidewalks with it if that's what you want to do. Yeah, I know what you're saying. My problem was the sociology exam. I was focusing. Don't try to bullshit me, son. You were reading. You're always reading. Kwame Quinn, 21 years old, a budding sociologist genius at the University of Chicago. Kwame, tell me, why sociology? It's a hell of a need for African-American perspectives in sociology. Sociology is one of the most racist disciplines in academia. Well, anthropology, history, and psychology are definitely close seconds. In any case, we are needed to keep them honest. I want to be a part of the movement to place our social picture in a clearer focus. Dinah Ellis Quinn, an Alpha sorority sister, chairwoman of 4 philanthropic organizations, community activist, housewife, I love my home, African art collector. Let's face it, African American art is more than mass on the wall. Entrepreneur, supermom, wife, lover. He slowly eased into a walk a few doors from his palatial home. Damn, I'm good. Look at me. 50 good-looking years old. Money in the bank, productive things going on in my life. A beautiful future. He made a quick study of their 4-bedroom, 3-story house. Looks like one of those old, hip, old-fashioned deals they have up in Evanston or Winnetka. The wide, deep front lawn was neatly trimmed and bordered with his favorite roses. The ivory paint job on the brick and wood sun porch, bright and gleaming. He strolled up the circular driveway and detoured into the acreage behind the house. Uh-oh. The roses that bordered the back walk had been uprooted. He stood in place, his hands on his hips for a pregnant minute, a film of perspiration on his face, more the result of frustration and anger than from exercising. Bella. I wonder what the hell made her do it. He looked up slowly to a second-floor bedroom window. The face glaring down at him was demonic, strangely contorted. Bella, if you weren't my schizophrenic daughter, I'd come upstairs and stick my foot in you. He waved casually to the face in the window and went into the house. Well, here he is. I thought you'd run away with that white girl or something. Dinah peeked over the top of her Ben Franklin's with a humorous glint in her eyes. Robert Quinn laughed and gave her a quick peck on the lips. What white girl? You know the one. The one with all that butter on her buns, who makes it her business to run as close to you as possible every morning. Who? What? Your son, the sociologist, checked you out a couple of mornings on his way to school. Damn, you can't do nothing about it. Go on, take your shower. I've got some fresh pineapple for you. Good, be right back. He started at the hallway to their bedroom and paused. Dinah, you see the roses out back? Once again, she looked over the top of her glasses, but a humorous glint was gone. Yeah, I saw them. I think we need to talk to her about that and a few other things as well. He nodded dumbly. Bella, Bella, Bella. Such a pain in the ass, such a burden. He stripped his sweaty running gear off and stepped into the shower. Took a moment to adjust the temperature of the water and stood for a few meditative moments under the hard sprinkle. Beautiful baby. Beautiful baby. Let's call her Bella. Bright, sensitive, full of good humor. The baby of the family at 18. That's it, Mr. Quinn. No more pushing me out of shape. It was almost ideal for a few years. 2 groovy parents, a couple of slightly older, supportive brothers, a warm, caring family circle. He began to soap his body. What happened? Was it the day he found Bella huddled in the closet of her room? Bella, what are you doing, sweetheart? We're getting ready to go to the beach. How old was she, 11, 12 years old? The year she insisted on wearing her winter coat all year long. Dinah thought it was because of her budding breasts. Girls can be terribly self-conscious about themselves at certain stages. I had a thing about my hands for a long time. The boys didn't agree. They had hemmed and hawed before Kwame, the forthright sociologist, was appointed the spokesman for the 2 of them. Mom, Dad, we don't think it's about growing up or any of that. Something is terribly wrong with our sister up here. It took another year for them to completely agree with their sons. He recalled the hell that he had towed himself dry. Dad, I wish you'd talk to Bella about coming into my room and messing with my papers and stuff. Mom, look, we got to do something about Bella. She's making life miserable for all of us. She lies about everything. You can't leave anything around because you have to throw it away. She's sloppy and nasty. The girl leaves her sanitary napkins in the toilet stool. Luckily, she didn't flush them down the way she did last time. Dad, I want to talk to you. What's up, Kofi? Well, I'm 21 now. I think it's time for me to be on my own. I don't have a problem with that. It's like I told you and Kwame a couple of years ago. Living is expensive, rent and all that madness. The only advantage we offer you by living at home is savings. I know. And we both love you guys for that, but yeah, I know. Bella, don't you think it's time that you had it checked out? Oh, so you think I'm crazy, huh? No, baby, nobody's saying you're crazy. The doctors just simply want to run a few tests, that's all. You can't fool me. You all think I'm crazy. The doctors? Well, I'm not crazy. I'm not, okay? Okay? The tests and the doctors say the same thing. Give or take a few hundred obscure words, more or less. Doctor, give it to us in straight terms. What's wrong with our daughter? Straight, you want it. I'll give it to you straight. Bella is suffering from schizophrenia. I tend to say schizophrenic demons because that's what it's like for her, demonic. She's paranoid, schizophrenic, on the cusp of depressive tendencies, and she's apt to get worse as time goes on. There are medications that we can use to perhaps stabilize the condition. They sat in shock for a few moments. How can someone in our family be mentally unbalanced? Kwame, the pragmatist, broke through the silence. What causes this and how can it be cured? Good question, both of them. We have some solid theories, but nothing absolutely concrete. We're fairly certain that genetics play a role in the development of this disease. Understand me well. I'm using disease in the old-fashioned sense of the word. Dis-ease. As for a cure, well, that's problematic at this point in medicine. We have medications that will help her deal with the monster she's facing, but I have to be completely honest with you. We have no cure. They included Bella in the family conference about how they were going to cope with their situation. It's the Afrocentric way. Isn't that the way you raised us? Yeah, like the patient should be in on whatever is happening. So I guess this means that you two bums are not going to run off and leave your crazy sister, huh? Oh, come on, Bella, get real. This is not the first time this family has faced up to a crisis. Remember when Mom lost her pearl and jade earrings? Kofi, Kwame, beautiful brothers, succeeded in making Bella laugh about herself a few times. Robert, your wheat bran is getting cold. Coming, baby, coming. I said, your wheat bran is getting cold, not me. He smiled, pulling on a pair of ivory linen trousers. This woman is too much. After 25 years of marriage, she can still play the delicious flirt and make me like it. They had conferences with Bella. It's the Afrocentric way. And they had conferences behind her back. All right, Kofi, spit it out. What's bugging you? Dad, Mom, Kwame. I don't want to see my sister in an institution, but what can we do to help her? Each of us has a life to live. We can't continue to ignore the fact that she's forcing us to live our lives according to her schedule, and her schedule is warped. We can't fool ourselves about that. I got to go with my brother on this one. I mean, like, what if these voices Bella hears all the time should tell her to kill us all in our sleep one night? It was definitely some tricky shit. He settled on the white-on-white V-neck sweatshirt and Moroccan sandals to start his day in. Robert Quinn of Quinn Products and Company, an Afrocentrically inclined operation, which meant no European striped suits, checkered ties, or linear minds, and besides, he wasn't going to any meeting with any of your normal go-to-the-office types. I can really see what that running white girl sees in you. You are fine, baby. I mean, fine. He pulled his wife to him and squeezed hard. It was love, lust, trust, and outrageously good feelings between them. He held her up against himself for a few moments, enjoying her woman feel, luxuriating in the idea of such a gorgeously beautiful African-American woman inside and out, belonging to him. She's mine. He's mine. What is this? A sex art or something, huh? What is this? What is it? What the fuck is this? What the fuck are you people doing? Fucking? Bella's appearance in the kitchen was like a jagged shaft of unwelcome lightning. She seemed to enjoy watching them pull away from each other to cope with the disturbance. Bella, don't you have classes today? Yes, I do. I don't have to be there till 10:30. Our first period teacher's out sick. She got raped. They were floored by her ephemeral attitudes. One minute she seemed to be hostile. The next minute she was warm and loving. Dinah solemnly announced, "It's got to be a giant case of PMS. I think the doctors are looking at the wrong end." Bella sneered. "What about men? You have men who go through the same trip. And who is to say that men don't have their own versions of PMS?" Dinah prepared an extra bowl of pineapple and wheat bran. "Come on, let's have breakfast on the terrace. You know, the way they do in the Fashion House Beautiful Cuisine magazines." She enjoyed sending their lifestyle up. We ain't no black and bougies up in here, and doing everything she felt would make her family feel groovier and more solid. Bella helped her bring out the trays of fruit, bran, orange juice, and sat at the breakfast table with a distant look on her face. It was becoming warm already, but the foggy night had left pearls of dew on the grass. Baby, this shit is tasty." Scratch out the nasty word and we would almost have a commercial. I think about it. The three of them munched on their bran flakes for a few moments, lost in their private worlds. Dinah leaned back in her director's chair and took a deep breath. "Bella," she asked gently, "why did you tear the rose bushes up?" "I didn't do it, Mom. I saw them this morning. I asked myself, wonder who did that?" Robert Quinn stared up at a drifting cloud. Dinah Quinn bit her bottom lip and focused on not crying. "Are you sure you didn't do it? Are you sure you didn't pull up the roses? Why would I do a thing like that?" Bella asked, her face shrieked with innocence. Robert and Dinah Quinn exchanged knowing looks. This was going to be one of their days with Bella. He polished off his cereal and fruit with a few angry spoonfuls. "Well, ladies, as he used to say, thank God for the cook for all I ate and the rest I took." Bella thought his remark was hysterically funny and laughed outrageously for a few minutes. Once again, the Quinns exchanged looks. What in the world are we going to do with this girl? Well, I was going to read the first few chapters, but I think one chapter, the first chapter is enough for the moment. And we'll get back to 2 in the morning, or in the afternoon, or whenever the spirits call on us.
All right.
That's the beginning of Shackles Across Time. It has its beginning in the States and goes beyond that eventually to West Africa.
Wow.
But that'll take a little time, and we have a little bit more madness to get through.
Wow, what a
I want to say
complicated
thank
family.
you for tuning in.
Yeah.
I want to offer my producer, director, mentor, wife, Zola, Selena, shout outs for being the beautiful, lovely lady she is.
Wow. I enjoy your stories so much.
And all such as that.
Yes, indeed. So that's Shackles Across Time.
Oh, Shackles Across Time.
Which can be
Let me get back
purchased.
to business. Oh, Shackles Across Time.
Which can be purchased on Amazon, Author House, Barnes & Noble, online more than likely. Or you can go to your local bookstore and ask them to order a copy for you of Shackles Across Time by Odie Hawkins. It is also an ebook.
All right, Louise, Eric,
Family.
Angela,
Familia.
Robin, you know who I'm talking to.
Friends and associates.
Hey,
Thank you.
bring it on in.
Okay.
See you later.
See you later.